Hey guys, Ian here from Ian Chalice Photography. In this video, I'm going to run you through hides for wildlife photography. Okay, because quite a few people have messaged me and quite a few people out there, a bit like myself at one point, were wondering, do I need a hide and what one do I need? So in this video, I'm going to run you through the different types of hide and how to use them properly and hopefully help you make up your mind by the end of it. So here I've got three of the main types of hide system, okay? So we've got a large pop-up hide just here, a bit like a tent. We've got a bag hide down there, and then we've got some camo clothing. So jumping straight into it, we'll start with the pop-up hide, okay? Now basically this thing, just here, this is made by Stealth Gear, okay? And this will set you back just over 100 quid. It's basically a big tent that you set up, it's got two chairs inside it, and you know, you're good to go. It's weatherproof, it will kind of sit you through a storm, bad weather, you can shoot all through it. Now, what we'll look at first is the practicality of each system. So, as you've probably guessed, it's far from small. Okay, so when you're carrying this around, it's about the same size as me. Now, obviously, somewhere in this picture, there'd have to be a camera system. So what if you've got a big chunky lens and a tripod? You probably can't carry two rucksacks, so you've got to start thinking about that. It's not the end of the world, but you just need to think about that. Okay. Then we move on to something similar but much smaller, okay? And that's this. This is a bag hide. Okay, now this is made by Wildlife Watching Supplies, and this will set you back around about 70 or 80 quid. This is the lightweight version in hardwoods green. Now, what's good about this is, I mean, it's a fraction of the size, okay? Weighs about the same as a small water bottle, and it's, you know, it's just cloth, okay? You can shove it in a bag, carry it if you will, strap it to you, whatever. Now, downsides to this, of course, it's not waterproof because it's literally just a cloth poncho. So you unwrap it as such, open it out into a big sheet, you basically get inside it, and look like an absolute fool. And then there's a little thing for your head. And just here, there is a Velcro opening for your lens, and I'm stuck. And that'll set you back about 80 quid. And then jumping straight to the obvious contender is this. This is a stupidly cheap, raggedy ex-military jacket. Cost me about £2.95 from eBay. It weighs nothing, and you know, Bob's your uncle, off you go. So, first thing you need to ask yourself is, do you actually need a hide? Now, one thing that needs to be clarified is that a hide will not make you a magician. Okay, if you're struggling to get decent photos, you can't just expect to buy a hide and suddenly become invisible. It's not that simple. You need to put a little bit of work, sometimes a lot of work, into setting up your hide, whether you are the hide or whether it's a whopping great tent like this. So now I'm just going to quickly show you how to put up the chair hide with the magic of time-lapse. And there we go, that actually took way quicker than I thought it would. In real time, that was only about 1 minute, 2 minutes max. So yeah, I guess that comes with experience. When I first got this, it did take about 5–10 minutes to work everything out, but it's just like a tent, which I'm usually terrible with. But yeah, so getting inside this, you've got a zip at the front that just splits it open, and then you can reenact the scene of Alien with a tent. Or if you're lazy like me, you can just lift the whole thing up, fold it back over, and just climb into your wonderful camouflage seats. So I'm going to get inside and hide from you scary people now. Now, once you're inside, it's obviously pretty dark. However, let there be light. So, at the front, we've got this, which is your mesh window. This is probably the stealthiest approach of watching wildlife. Not amazing for photography because shooting through mesh is always going to deter your quality. However, in comes your incredibly loud Velcro, which allows you to tailor that to be a lens opening, allowing you to still be pretty stealthy, but just poke a lens out and not have any problems with your quality. Putting that back together and plunging into darkness, you can, of course, open the entire thing and just have a cave, basically. And what's really good about this is that, yeah, it's not as stealthy as it was before, but you can still hide yourself fairly well. You're still protected from the elements, and, you know, what more do you need? So, I'm going to leave that open, actually, just so we've got some light. Going around this place, then, you've got really good visibility. It's like a fighter cockpit, okay, for a jet. So opening these, you've got mesh windows, 2 on each side. You really start to open this thing up. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, 2 mesh windows each side. And bearing in mind, we can close this front canopy as well. And my favorite bit, which I didn't even notice until the 3rd time I used it, you can open the back window in case you get some rogue wildlife trying to attack you from behind. Now, unfortunately, you can't actually open this window, which is a little bit annoying, but at the same time, it would be pretty impractical because the chairs are here, so you wouldn't be able to get your tripod there. Well, yeah. Yeah, and of course the side windows, though, they can be opened if you can find the Velcro. There we go, yeah, so the side windows can be opened and you can shoot through them. So all in all, this Popup Hide really does offer a lot of options. And more importantly, it's protection from the elements. So you can shoot in the snow, you can shoot in the rain. If you're that way inclined, you could shoot in the lightning. I would. But yeah, so that's about it. It's really hot in here. Now that is something to consider. It's a really warm summer's day. It's black on the inside. It's not a fancy tent, so it's not the most breathable thing in the world. However, it does have windows all around. So if you keep these open, just with the mesh, you're getting some pretty decent ventilation going through. The only problem with that is your shadow or silhouette, any movement will be seen in this hide. Now, this is what I meant about hides not being magic, okay? Yeah, we are smarter than a lot of wildlife you'll be photographing, but if you just put that right there, it sticks out like a sore thumb. And especially if you're going to be in there jittering around, you're about as hidden as someone in a high-vis jacket, let's be honest. And it's just with simple little common sense things, you can make hides better, okay? And that's what really will improve your shots. And you can take this beyond hides, it's just how you put yourself, really. So, let's take this guy, sitting right in the middle of an opening. That's just daft. And there we go. Just by putting it somewhere a little bit out of the way, it's way less visible. And you knew it would be somewhere in here because, you know, the camera shot is the same. But if you're just a deer walking through the opening, or just a brown hare running along, or a sparrowhawk in the sky, that's probably not going to catch your eye. And that is pretty much the main tip I'd give with pop-up hides or physical hides. You've got to make them part of the environment, just like any hide, but because they are bigger and they are rigid and frankly a little bit unnatural, you got to think where you're going to put them. And my best tip is putting them under trees, in between hedges, in little gaps, under shadow. As long as your shot's not in shadow, it's not going to affect you, you're just going to be even more hidden. You've still got to be still, you've still got to be quiet, and you've still got to be aware of what you're trying to photograph, because different animals are a lot more aware than others. But yeah, that's pretty much my big top tip for pop-up hides and tents. Don't expect miracles, you do have to work for it. Right, moving on to that bag hide. Okay, so here I am in my bag hide. I'm not invisible, I don't look like a tree. I just look like a bit of an idiot, to be honest. But now we're going to play hide and seek. So I'm going to put this somewhere a bit better. And you're going to try and find me. Right, now I hope it's not too obvious, but from the position I am right now, I could take a fantastic photograph of the camera that's filming this video. Now I'm not going to make it too cheesy, so I'll just give you like 1 second to find me, and la 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 la, ta-da, here I am in a tree. Okay, it's basically the same principle, guys. That's how camouflage works. Breaks up your outline, makes you part of the environment. So if in doubt, just hide in a tree. But a bag hide, unlike the dome hide, allows you a lot more flexibility. It's lighter, you can just sit there in a bit of a run and gun approach, because at the end of the day, a hide is no use if you're going to leave it at home under your bed, which is what I've done with that chair hide so many times. So there is that. Honestly, I'm not going to do the same thing with the camo jacket. Just take my word for it. If I lie down on the floor, a bit like a soldier, if you will, with my camera, you probably won't be able to see me first glance. I could get a good shot. It kind of explains itself. So, to summarise then, you've got just over 100 quid. You can get yourself a decent Popup Hide. It's rugged, it's waterproof. It'll let you shoot pretty much anything, anywhere, anytime. You can leave it down, it's got tent pegs, you can have guy ropes on it. It will stay there. If it's private property, it's fairly safe. I wouldn't leave a hide in a public place because they do get nicked or trashed, unfortunately. But yeah, you know, it's kind of a home from home. It's a good little workstation. The bag hide is just something you can pretty much always have with you. You might not know when you need a hide. You know, you can just throw it over yourself, you're good to go. That company, Wildlife Watching Supplies, they do also make a waterproof one. I didn't buy it because it won't be as breathable. It will get really warm in my opinion, but it would be a poncho. So it would be an emergency waterproof if you need it. Now, just before I finish, you've got to ask yourself one simple question. Where are you going to take your photos? If the answer to that is your local nature reserve, or pretty much any nature reserve in the UK, there's a strong likelihood you've got one of these at your disposal, a bird hide. Pretty much every nature reserve in the UK has one of these. Some of them have multiple ones, and the really fantastic ones are made specifically with photographers in mind. So if they're next to a river or a lake, they'll be low down across the water's edge. And if they're surrounded by shrubs and meadows, they'll be quite high up so you can see far out into the distance. Now, the joy about these is they're waterproof, they're stormproof, they're snowproof. You can have lunch in there, you can spend all day in there. Some of them are actually quite comfy, some of them are actually quite warm. You might also spend the afternoon chatting to someone with a similar interest, which is always nice. More to the point, guys, these don't cost a thing. And if they do cost anything, it will be a donation through the form of an entry fee or a membership fee. So your money's going to a good place anyway. Now, I'm not trying to deter you, that would be completely pointless. You'd have wasted the last 10-20 minutes of this video. All I'm saying is, just think before you spend your money. Do you need a hide? Now, there is a time and place for a hide, of course there is, but there also isn't. Okay, but yeah, I hope you found this as informative as I wanted it to be. Let me know if I've missed anything out or if you've got any questions. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Just fire away at the comments and such. Make sure you hit subscribe as well, guys. Every subscriber really does matter to me. You can also find me on Facebook. That is where I'm most active. You can also see a lot more of my work there as well. Website is up and running soon, currently under construction. But yeah, I've got a lot more time on my hands now, guys, because I've finished uni. I'm going to launch my business this year, hopefully just in time for the summer. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.